The following is a work of fiction. The intent is to promote and publicize a work of American fiction. Similarities to real people, places, or events are entirely coincidental. Hello again, viewers, and welcome to another chapter of Henri Edson XIMENEZ. I'm Paul Flum, reading from the novel on behalf of the Shrimp Trawler channel and Conscious Publishing. And today it'll be chapter 21, which is called Unison Velvatone. And we picked a nice location today. You'll appreciate this visual. Our location manager decided to revisit a place that we use quite frequently in the production of I'm Carlos Now. And it is a place that we refer to as the Abyss. Just to recall the last few chapters, while we're pondering the Abyss, we learned more of Henri Edson XIMENEZ. We learned more of his growing pains, and also prior to that, I think we were still kicking around Savannah, Georgia, in a coffee shop with a frittata and a scone, maybe, and a chai, and rooting through a journal and found that press kit, or rooting for that press kit, found the New Orleans Bath press kit. So I think I don't think we've gone anywhere else. I think we're still stuck in Savannah, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully we'll find out here today. Chapter 21, Unison Velvatone. Feels good to be back at the Abyss. You know, back in my formative years listening to music, there was a band called Pink Floyd, and they would walk out to the Abyss and write down what they saw. And then there was another band very similar to them from Germany called Can, and they would walk out to the Abyss and jump. Well, folks, I'm not going to jump today. I'm going to read chapter 21, and that is called Unison Velvatone. We'll find out what that's all about. Another cup of chai latte at Lucky Savannah's. The previous set of journal pages were in pristine condition compared to the haphazard state of the rest. There's a similar press release like the one Kevin Lundahl wrote on New Orleans Bath. Seems like the top portion of the article is missing. We can pick it up in mid-sentence after the torn bits, and it goes like this. It's like blah, blah, blah. Of the recordings done in 1994 were passed on to Tony and Adam. The three gentlemen constituted a band performing selected songs under various band names, including Blinder and Silt Flats. They recorded a session in the fall of 1994 at Social Services Recording Studio. I Want You was chosen for this collection. The rest of the session has been lost. This lineup also cooked up some goodies in early 95, recorded at the Our House, The Brown Scarf, Wire Song, The Victrola Idler, Buffaloes, Stumblin', Culvert Gardenia, Astronaut Satellite, all eventually touched up at Social Services Recording Studio in the spring of 1995. There was one more solo project that spring at the Our House. From that came Super Thin Alien and Honest. Two more noteworthy events happened that spring. Helicopter reunited, and that lineup of Unison Velvatone ceased. Right Across Oklahoma was recorded at 824 Park Avenue. It would later be performed in 1996 by the next lineup, of which included Colin. Dirt Roads has special significance. It predicts the demise of the Unison Velvatone lineup. This was a band with vision and spark, who often got derailed through the many personnel changes and extraneous band compromises over 3 tumultuous years. And then at the bottom of the press kit in uppercase is a handwritten note saying, "Listen to the tapes and get back to me, Colin." So this was sort of stuck in here by a friend to indicate, listen to the tapes as it regards this piece, I'm assuming. Okay, superstar, let me help you out a bit here. This passage leads to evidence of a musical career. It includes people you have assembled bands with, a bunch of songs I have heard, though hardly any other earthly presence anywhere else has. One of the bigger nuggets mentions the band name Unison Velvatone. That's a band name. And also that it has ceased being a band. That second word, Velvatone, is not misspelled. It refers to a spiral-bound notebook manufacturer from the 1960s. And you found one of those in your attic, summer of 1992. You know, it's kind of nice seeing these other years as we've been, in these different colored eras. So there's other stuff going on in this storyline. A green notebook containing a diary, song lyrics, and tabs. No evidence of who wrote it, mostly in pencil. The book was passed about by the Helicopter band members for their amusement only. No songs were stolen. The best thing about the notebook was giving the future group its name. The second biggest nugget indicates page notes by a person named Colin. You remember, he was one of your roommates, the one who digs motorcycles. Oh, okay, back in the Creepy Organ soundtrack. So the conclusion is that there are tapes to find, listen to, and continue to evolve the music within. Make it last. Make it endure. As a fragment of your life. As a fragment of your life that you cannot do without. That you know no other way. As Rainer Maria Rilke suggested in his Letters to a Young Poet. Let's keep digging in that journal. It is probably the most tangible device we have to keep that memory strong and current, up to date, relevant, whatever, wherever that is. The third part of the journal has a printout of what looks like a primitive web page, perhaps constructed by a novice using HTML. It doesn't have the same snap and sparkle of those Kevin Lundall press releases. Maybe it is under construction. Let's take a peek. And this looks like what appears to be song lyrics. Main Street physics. Felt good to twist, felt good to turn. It felt so good laying there and we are all alone. I felt you breathe, I felt you squirm. I fell apart, understand, you were there, laying under me. I saw us on a bridge, a Japanese footbridge, turning softly on your soul, whispering in. I felt those needs, the needs to control things, grabbing firmly on your dress, and your response was clinging on to me. Early Uniform history. The original lineup of Uniform was Colin drums, Christian guitar, and can't read what it says, bass and vocals here. The first live show was in July 1997 at a warehouse located at 921 East Fort Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland. Main Street Physics, Hostage of Luck, Heavenly Hopeful, Destination Stars and Stripes, and Row Houses of the Holy were some of the songs performed at that show. Most of those songs were recorded at Mount Royal Recording Studio by Charlie in December of 1997. Original t-shirt design, Colin, 1997. That's a clever way to get Monet in a tune. What Main Street Physics means is a riddle. The titles are intriguing, I give you that. Also from this bit, the name Uniform pops up, which is a separate band that played at this place in Baltimore, looks like. The name Christian appears in this entry. You are a collaborator, that's good. Let's jot that stuff down and move on. Ah, it is November 14, 1998, 10:21 p.m. Boy, I hope we ordered multiple chai lattes at that coffee shop, but they want to kick us out. We've been there for like 3 hours. After writing in your journal and doing some reading, enjoying your chai latte, it is time to roll out. Maybe even go for a drive. The frittata? Well, okay at best. Hey, what do you want for half price? Well, there we go. Time to leave the cafe. See, they were starting to sweep, and you know how the hints they drop on you. That's it for chapter 21, Unison Velvatone. We're going to get some more at the very end of this video of that notebook, which should be rather intriguing, and some music to go with it as well. I want to thank Conscious Publishing and the Shrimp Trawler channel for another edition of Paul Flum reads from his novel, Henri Edson XIMENEZ. We'll see you next week.